Okay, we are live. How you doing, Evan and Jay?
Hi, Nicole. Doing well.
Good.
Hey, Nicole.
Okay, we're all set to go, Kevin.
All right, we'll go ahead and kick off. Members of the subcommittee are hereby advised of their duty under the State Government Ethics Act to avoid conflicts of interest and are instructed to refrain from participating in any matter coming before this subcommittee with respect to which there is such a conflict of interest. That said, I know, Nicole, you had emailed us out the updated draft opinion. I guess we probably want to start off there and then kind of review back to how we got there from the last meeting.
Okay, that'd be fine. So you all will recall at the last meeting, you all had questions and concerns about whether or not a lawyer allowing or renting space to a company for a kiosk for ignition lock services in their law office, whether that is providing a law-related service. And you all agreed that it is not a law-related service. So the first draft of the ethics opinion relied on Rule 5.7, law-related service. So in inquiry 1, I took all of that language out about law-related service under 1.5 and instead followed your direction that it is a conflict of interest under Rule 1.7, albeit a consentable conflict of interest, but the lawyer's financial interest in receiving rent from the company for the kiosk poses as a personal conflict of interest, and the lawyer would have to make a full disclosure to the client and then get the client's informed consent confirmed in writing. So that's how opinion number 1 was revised. So you can see in the track changes. We pulled this same language that was previously in inquiry number 2, I believe. Yes. So we pulled a lot of that information up to include it in inquiry number 1 to answer that question. And then in question number 2, this is about, may the lawyer recommend the companies for ignition lock services to his own or her own clients. And that opinion also relies on Rule 1.7, personal conflict of interest, and requires that the lawyer make a full disclosure and give informed consent confirmed in writing. Consent has to, or that the full disclosure must include that what the lawyer's personal financial interest is in the company. Number 3, this is the opinion about the referral fee that the lawyer would receive, and you all had tabled further discussion on that opinion. Most of you did not like the idea of having or allowing lawyers to receive a referral fee, but you may recall that Brian and I explained at our last subcommittee meeting that there's nothing in the rules that would prohibit that. So this may be an instance where you might want to think about if you want to have that inquiry in, but nevertheless, I think the rules would allow it. And then inquiry number 4 is about advertising and marketing and using the company being an intermediary company and following Rule 7.4. And at our last meeting, everybody was very happy with that opinion. So no changes were made to that opinion. So I'll turn it back over to you, Kevin.
Okay. And from the, I wasn't at the last meeting, but from the notes and the summary, it looks like, and just as Nicole just said, you kind of deferred some of the thoughts on the referral fee for this meeting. And I know from the full bar council meeting, I know Evan had some interest in speaking on the subject during this meeting. So I guess I'll reach out to you first, Evan, and see what general comments, and if you want to kick off in terms of the referral fee also.
Well, I'm persuaded always with the solid front that Nicole and Brian have put up here as our ethics council that there's nothing in the rules that prohibit it. And so if it's not prohibited, then it's permissible. And if it's permissible in a situation like this, it's permissible with conditions. So I think that I like what Nicole has done by moving the body from opinion number 2 up to number 1, and also bringing that back down to number 2. But this whole inquiry revolves around the conflict of interest question. And I think we've sliced it up 3 different ways here, in 1, 2, and 3 on how we look at the conflicts. But I think, Kevin, that with Brian and Nicole saying that there's nothing to prohibit it, to me, that means it's permissible with conditions. So that's kind of where I am, even though it feels really, as we said last time, really kind of yucky. So I'll live with it.
I think it was actually icky, Evan, not yucky, but I'm not sure there's a substantial difference.
And one last thing, under opinion number 3, in the draft that I sent you, I neglected to cross out the reference to Rule 1.8A. So
Okay.
I've crossed that out. That it's not a 1.8A, because that's the doing business with a client rule, and the lawyer is not doing any business with the client with regard to this ignition lock service. So that needed to come out as well.
Yeah, I noticed that a minute ago. Jay, you're the one that started us down this road with that created heartburn for everybody. So help us with some antacid here.
Well, I agree with you. I have problems with it. It still feels icky to me, but
Feels yucky to me.
You said it well. I mean, if Brian and Nicole say there's nothing that prohibits it and it's permissible, I'll just say it. I mean, it seems weird or odd to me that I can charge rent and then I can get a referral fee. Then I can just get the client to say, oh yeah, I'm getting this money, but I'm still going to be able to represent you zealously against this company that I'm getting money for, who now says that, and we have to go in and say that, their machine malfunctioned. I don't know. It just, that feels really icky to me. But, and that's going to come up. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I thought Nicole did a really good job of addressing that, though. I mean, it's pretty obvious, like, you can't accept this case if this comes up. I mean, lawyers need to be weighing that versus the, $400 or whatever they're going to get. I think what I think is what's bothering us is the financial piece, the fact that they're getting money. And I wonder, as I read this, and it's so obvious, I know, Nicole, it's so obvious, but I wondered if you could conclude some of these sections or paragraphs with, if the lawyer is not receiving a referral fee, blah, 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 rule doesn't apply. Or if the lawyer is not receiving rent, just making it kind of obvious that if you're not taking money for this, you don't have to comply with these rules.
Okay.
I mean, again, it's obvious, but I guess I'm really just trying to just drive that home as people read these opinions.
Well, friend, they're may not be getting money, but they're also getting free advertisement, in whatever advertising the company does, with their recommended lawyers. I mean, they're getting, it may not be money, but they're getting something out of it. But I guess, Nicole, I think Fran's point is well taken, because the company does list that they have several options. They can donate the money. They can choose not to accept any money. Do you, Nicole, or Ellen, since you're the professorial guru, do you guys see a problem with leaving that out, or should we put it in?
Leaving out Ellen's suggestion, I mean, Fran's suggestion?
Yeah, leaving it out.
Well, I mean, like she said, I mean, it is obvious. But I don't think it hurts to put it in. It just adds more language. I think I can write it so that it's not confusing, but I mean, I leave it up to you. I mean, I agree with Fran that it is stating the obvious, but sometimes we need to state the obvious. And I usually feel like that is the situation where the lawyers might be able to twist things and take advantage and do something that they know that they shouldn't do, but it's not clear in the opinion. I don't think that's the situation here, but I'll leave it up to you.
Does anyone have an issue like with what Eben mentioned, where it may not be purely a financial gain that they get? I mean, I would assume, if I know the initial inquiry was from Smart Start, I would assume they would present a map at some point by a website where people could find the kiosks, which is going to be additional advertisement for that particular attorney's office above and beyond just brochure information or recommended attorneys. But I'd be interested to see if you have interest or issues, if it's just financial compensation or if you see that additional piece as compensation or not.
Well, Kevin, you weren't here, I don't think, for the last meeting. And so you may not know that I have some pretty strong feelings about this. I want to see this go forward because I do think it provides a service to poor people and to non-English speaking people, people that don't have internet access. You got to give some incentive for these lawyers to do this, right? Like, I really don't like the idea of them collecting money off the kiosks, but, you know, if having their name out there and that doesn't bother me, that there's some extra advertising. Other attorneys in the community may not, you know, like that, but it doesn't bother me personally.
It doesn't bother me personally, and I have a hard time differentiating that from a lawyer who pays to buy a table at I don't know, the Winston-Salem Foundation's women's lunch, right? Which is, I just saw advertised the other day. I think, I'm not saying they're not different, but I think we as a group would have a hard time distinguishing the two in a way that we could say one is okay and one is not okay in terms of indirect benefits to a lawyer. And I think 7.4 helps with that. And the 7.4 language helps with that.
Right. Well, I'm gonna suggest that we leave out Fran's proposed addition, and just because it seems obvious, I just I don't know. That's the way I feel. So I don't know how the rest of the committee feels. Do we need to state the obvious, I guess, is the question.
I think my thought is for lawyers that scan these rules and don't really like get in the weeds and just kind of read them, that if we just kind of sum it up at the end, if you don't take money, you don't have to worry about this. But I'll defer to you guys. I'm one of the newer members here. As long as it's moving forward, I will concede that language to you, Evan.
I can get to yes on the rest of it.
Jay or Ellen, do you have any thoughts on that extra verbiage or not having it?
I'm fine with leaving it out too. And I'm fine with going forward with the way Nicole's drafted it.
I'm too. I mean, I tend to always err on the side of not extra language, though I understand Fran's point and have often thought, let's just tell them the easy route in case they choose to take that. But I think it is beyond what is required. And I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other.
Yeah, I just think it's a cleaner opinion without it. And it just, there's no reason to dig another rabbit hole somewhere. So.
That's fine.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any strong opinions or feelings about any of the other portions of the opinion?
I think it looks really good.
Yeah. Yay, Nicole. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Nicole.
you. Thank
Good
you.
work.
Okay, so I'll clean it up, take out the track changes, and then are you all in agreement that we're ready to publish this for comment?
Yep.
Good.
Is that
Yes.
way?
I think we got all the negative energy out in Asheville, right? So hopefully in October, smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's it. That was quick, Kevin. Good job. I scheduled it for like an hour and a half.
Well, it helps. The opinion's already ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I caved too quickly, Nicole. I should have created more.
That's
stuff.
okay, Evan. We'll give you a pass this time. You can
All
save
right.
it for your opinion.
Well, Evan, I will say to you and Jay, I mean, I do think, in the grand scheme of things, while this might be a narrow issue, I think this opinion is absolutely right today. And I think that your instincts that we might see this again in future are well-founded.
I'm excited. I'm really excited about this opinion. So I appreciate you guys listening to me and including me in the discussion.
Well, yeah, I think you were very persuasive, Fran. So, and it
Good
makes
points
sense.
made.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, if there's nothing else, then I have my
All right.
marching orders. I'll just clean it up and we'll present it at the October meeting for publication.
Fantastic. Thanks,
Good.
guys.
Okay.
See you.
All right. Thank y'all.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
holiday weekend.
All right,
too.
y'all too. Thank you.